Hello. How are you doing? I hope everything's fine with you. And welcome to a new video where basically I'm going to do market analysis, mainly this time for FX pairs. I will talk for sure about US dollar or DXY, the US dollar index, and I will talk about gold. Maybe we will touch a little bit EURUSD, and yeah, let's see how it goes. For the next videos, I will make for sure some analysis on crypto market and also some about stock market. But let's start with the FX. And as I always like to start with economic calendar. So if we look at the economic calendar, today we had Mr. Trumbo speaking. It was around 15:30 Polish time. And tomorrow we have some news on British pound, and later we have at 2:30 my time some news on USD, and later at 5 we have news in British pound, and then on Wednesday we have some news on Australian dollar, and on Thursday Australian dollar news, British pound news, and a lot of USD news, and some of them are very important. Some of them are related to retail sales. And later on Friday, we have some news on USD. Why I always like to start with economic calendar? Because when you look at the economic calendar and you see what kind of major news we have, then you can expect where most of the market movement will happen. So as you can see, this week we have a lot of news on USD, and also I would say British pound, and yeah, one or two on Australian dollar. So what does it mean, Hisham? It means that most of movement happening in the market will happen across USD pairs and British pound and Australian dollar. So then the biggest movement will happen on, for example, GBP USD, Australian dollar US dollar. That will be the biggest move. For sure, you will see also on gold, EURUSD, etc. So as we discussed that, then we will move to the charts. But before moving to the charts, the news about President Trump speaking today, it was not announced last week. And I remember on Friday, I was speaking with one of my clients, and I told him, to be honest, the market was quite boring. If we look at this chart, the market was quite boring, and this is a weekly time frame, guys. What you will see here, the market for 1, 2, 3, 4, the market for the last 4 weeks was just creating doji candles. What does it mean, doji candles? Is basically when there is indecision in the market. The market doesn't move in one direction. But that's normal, because in general, the market does not move all the time. The market is moving and then basically is ranging. If you look at, for example, the chart here, what you will see, guys, such a big move to the downside, okay? And then what is happening? The market is moving almost sideways all this time, okay? You see, just sideways. And then what happened? The market, big move to the upside. And then here, if we zoom in, what you will see, some movement to the sideways, and then big move to the downside. Okay, so the same story, what is happening here, the market here is just moving sideways. Okay, and then from here, we might see the market move to the upside or to the downside. Okay, right now it looks like it is moving to the upside. So this is what is happening in the market all the time. Big move, ranging, big move, ranging, etc. But in general, when the market is ranging like that for the last 4 weeks, then you can see, and this is what I anticipated with my client, I said, I do expect that we will see a big push to the upside on USD, and therefore a big move to the downside, I would say, on EURUSD, because we were talking about EURUSD. Okay, and that was basically what I was looking for. Okay, I will come to that later. But As you can see on EURUSD, we had left shoulder, head, right shoulder, and we had this gray area, which is support area. Price broke below, as you can see on Thursday. On Friday, the market came to retest the broken support as resistance. And what I was expecting, at least today, that the market will just, let's remove this here, that the market from here will come a little bit push to the upside and then move to the downside. But actually, what happened that market started today, and then we start to move to see the move happening to the downside. Okay, so the overall direction or the overall move to the downside, I was calling, but it happened earlier than I expected. And looking at what happened in the news, you can see Mr. Trump speaks. So that's why I always say to my clients and also to some of my friends, give me the chart and I will tell you what will happen in the market. Again, give me the chart and I will tell you what will happen in the market. I mean here from someone speaking or some news will happen or certain things like that, And it's quite, I would say, interesting story because I remember, and to be honest, it scares me a little bit because I remember 2 years ago or 3 years ago, I cannot recall the time exactly, but I was talking with my very close friend who actually is not big believer in Forex market. And I was telling him, at the end of the day, technical analysis is very important. And the market was just like GBP/USD was just moving to the upside. And then I told him, to be honest, according to technical analysis, 90%, I would say 95%, the market should drop from here. And again, listen carefully to the words I'm using. Should. Okay? I didn't say it will. Because at the end of the day, you can have thousands or million of reasons that the market will move in one direction, but at the end of the day, it's a probability game. Okay, you have to understand that. It's a probability game. You can have 100,000 or millions of reasons or confluences that the market will move in one direction, but at the end of the day, the market does what it wants. So in the probability game, you always need to work on the odds, which will increase the probability that your trade is going to win and probabilities of your losses to be less and less. Okay? But coming back to the discussion with my friend, so I was telling him, actually, the GBP/USD should just move to the downside from here. And that was Friday evening. And he said like, okay, I don't care. I told him, but man, believe me, it should. And let's see. And what happened over the weekend, which for sure it was big unfortunate, and again, it scared me a little bit that some terrorist attack, it happened in London, which basically when the market opened on Monday, I could see a big sell-off happening on GBP/USD. And to be honest, that made me think, is it really like that? But to be honest, I don't want to think about it that much. All what I can say, show me the chart and I will tell you what might happen in the news or, what will happen in the market or some political things. So, coming back to DXY or the US dollar index. So looking at it right now, basically guys, for who just watching me for the first time, this is my favorite and lovely chart, which I call psychological level charts. And these charts have or these levels has a full, let's say, story behind it, how you can find them. And just to make it very easy and simple, these levels helps you to basically anticipate the moves in the market. You can see how the price is respecting these levels nicely or I would say 90% of the time. Anyway, on weekly time frame, what we can see is that the price broke below this level, came to retest here as resistance, 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 price broke above, and right now we can see price is moving to the upside. What does it mean? It means that we have this level here. You see, guys, it was showing support, support, price broke below, didn't come to retest as a resistance. So this is an open level where the price might come to retest. And please pay attention to the words I'm saying. I said price may come to retest, okay? It's all about probabilities. This level again, price broke below, didn't come to retest as resistance. So price might come here to retest. Here, support, 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 support. Price broke below, didn't come to retest as a resistance. So here is also another level where price might come to retest. Here again, support, price broke below, didn't come to retest as a resistance. So price might come also to retest. And last is this one in turquoise color here. Okay, you can see it was resistance, resistance, price broke above. Here in September 2024, price came to retest as a support in March 2025, and then price broke below. So maybe the price will come here to retest it as a resistance, but we can see on weekly time frame price is breaking above, but you never know what will happen by end of this week. Maybe that will be a big tail and the price, the body of the candle will close below here. Okay, but we can see in general on daily time frame that price is actually breaking above this level. But again, levels which we might be looking for is 1, 2, 3, 4. These are the 4 levels where price might push for, and then, you know, we start to see a move to the downside from there. Now let's go to this chart here. I would say, as you can see, guys, we basically had the market is moving in an uptrend since May 2021. Okay, big move to the upside, ranging, and then again move. But I wouldn't say market created higher high, because this is the last higher high. Market created a higher low, and then this is not a higher high, so we cannot call this a higher low. It's just market moving that direction. Even what I would say, you know, we just have a normal trend line, and what we can see, price actually broken below this point here, came to retest, and right now price is just moving to the upside, maybe to retest this area or that area. But to be fully honest, right now I would actually remove this because it's already invalidated, and I would be more looking into opportunities to sell in general USD. So right now it will be good to see, basically, as I said, market might come here, okay, or basically I would say maybe somewhere here, this area. It might be also another area where price might come to retest before moving to the downside, or that area up there. So all these areas, I would say, are areas where price might basically come here, then move to the downside, if any, or basically price can come here, move to the downside, if any, or price come here and move to the downside, if any. Okay, so these are the areas which I will be looking at, and as far as the price is just here, I would say there is nothing to do for me. Okay, if we look on daily time frame, to be honest, it will be good to see how basically, if I will look at it, maybe you see, so what we have here, we have basically first touch of the trend line here. We have second touch of the trend line. Okay. And then price here is around the third touch of the trend line. Okay. But again, I would say, I don't think it will be that easy. At the end of the day, I will keep a close eye on what is happening, and then I will keep you updated on, I would say, maybe the the free Telegram channel. But also, guys, look at it here. What do you see? That here we have left shoulder, head, and then right shoulder. And this is inverse head and shoulder. And then what you can see that, let's say, this is basically, just resistance, support zone. What happened? Price broke above the neckline, came to retest, and now the price might be coming here. And this, inverse head and shoulder might indicate that there is some change in the direction of the market. But what I would say, it's always, always, always good to look at the market structure. This is the best thing to look at. So lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. So I would say the best thing we can look at is basically, I would say, this area here, because I would say this is the area which I will be, maybe from market structure point of view, that will be the area where basically, we have the last, the last lower high. So as far as the price is still moving below this zone, so we are in a downtrend. Okay, please pay attention to what I am saying. It's very, very, very important. But in general, we might see that from this trend line, and usually this is what is happening with trend lines most of the time, that price from here will be exactly doing what you see, guys. Okay, price will start to do something like that. Let me just show you. Price will be price will be, just a minute, price will be doing something like that. Yes, price will be just coming from here, moving to the downside a little bit, so creating this sell bias into the market. And then from here, what the market will do, the price will come from here and go to collect all these stop losses and then move from here to the downside, if any. Or after moving to the downside, price might even go to basically to this area, okay, checking or retesting the last lower high from market structure point of view, and then move to the downside. So that's scenario number 2. But what even the market sometimes does, which is even more tricky, okay, is that I told you that this point, okay, let's remove this. Okay, I told you here that this point here is the last lower high, and this is very important. So what the market does in a lot of cases is coming like that with daily candle to close above, okay, and then second day the candle will close below again, creating this shaking move in the market, and then retest and then move to the downside. So that's why I always say patience is very important in the market. It's very important, and also to understand how the market moves is very, very, very critical and important. Okay, as you see here, guys, you see on lower time frame, market started to show some rejection to basically, on lower time frame to this. And what might happen that, let's remove this from here. What might happen that we might see, as I said, price basically, okay, price basically coming from here might come all the way down to here and then move all the way up. And to be fully honest, that might happen easily this week. Why? Because of the amount of the news which I talked about. So really, guys, pay attention to that. Be very careful. Be very, very careful. And if I would say there is an area to look at, it will be this area here. Why? Because this area, what we have, resistance, 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 resistance. Price broke above and didn't come to retest so far as a support. So from here, we might see price coming all the way down and then all the way up. But also keep in mind the bigger picture. So the bigger picture, looking at the daily time frame, the bigger picture is definitely that we are in a downtrend. So the smart trade is to sell the USD. Okay, so that's why I would say selling USD is a good option. Right now, actually, it's quite late, so I wouldn't actually look for any trade to short USD right now. But actually, that will be an area where I will be, maybe, tomorrow I will look for an opportunity to short the USD. Keeping that in mind, let's actually go to EURUSD, and I would actually, it's enough to look at this chart, to be honest. It's really enough to look at this chart. Yeah. And actually looking at this chart as well, what do you see here on weekly time frame? On weekly time frame, I know it's not the best, I would say, case to see right now, but here you can see left shoulder, and then here you have head, and here you have right shoulder, which is inverse head and shoulder. And then what happened? Basically, price, moved to the upside, and then here, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. And right now, price might be coming to basically make a higher low. Okay, that's on weekly time frame. On daily time frame, what do we see? Let's have a trend line, and we have here, this is, I would say, maybe long-term trend line. And because trend lines have 3 different types, here we have another trend line. And what happened here, guys? What do you see here? So here we have, for this one, first touch, second touch, and then we are waiting maybe for the third touch. Okay, maybe let me do it that way to make it easier to recognize between the different trend lines. Okay, so the blue one is, I would say, outer trend line, and the green one is inner trend line. In general, for trend lines, we have 3 different types of trend lines: long-term, outer, and inner. Okay, so I would say what happened. So here we had first touch, second touch, and then here price broke below. What you see, guys, price broke below, came to retest. Okay, and then I would expect we might see price coming to print the third touch to the outer trend line. Okay, but if as I said, if the US dollar is to move to this side before moving to the upside, if any, because the probability for the US dollar to move to the downside is higher. Why? Because we are in a downtrend. So this is a smart move. Okay, so here I would say, if there is an opportunity actually to sell EURUSD, I will be more looking maybe, okay, For me, I always need to have 3 confluences to enter any trade. Okay, I would say maybe that will be the case. We have first touch there, I would say maybe second touch, and maybe I will wait for third touch somewhere. If we look at the 4 hours time frame, so I would say we have first touch, second touch. Yeah, maybe somewhere for sure we can have with FIBO as well, but we don't know if this is really the bottom. Maybe also, yeah, you can see this area here. Maybe, but I need to see more price action. But again, for me in general, I will be more looking for opportunities to buy in the longer term, but maybe to find an opportunity for the price to come here, and from here later on price to move to the upside. Because as I told you, keep an eye on this: higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, etc. Even if we look at it on weekly time frame. So what do we see? Again, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. So this point here, it's a very important point. I would say all this area here, it's very important, guys. Very important. All this area here. This area is very important. Again. So I will be looking more for an opportunity to sell to this area, and from here to be buying. This is what I will be looking for, yeah, tomorrow. And definitely EURUSD is, I would say, one of, yeah, top to look at this week. If we look at gold, let's look at this chart. So what do you see here, guys? What do you see here? In general, it's obvious that we are in a very strong uptrend in when it comes to gold. It's obvious. And as you can see here, I also show you, like, the movement when it comes to gold in 2022, in 2023, 2024, it was massive. And for sure, 2025, even, it broke all these levels. But here, what we can see that we are basically in a range. Okay. But again, I would say we are at this point right now. Maybe, to be fully honest, I wouldn't touch gold this week. Maybe on daily time frame. Yeah, I wouldn't touch gold this week, to be honest, because it's in quite dangerous area. Why? Because if we look at it on daily time frame, or actually let's look at it on weekly time frame first. On weekly time frame, on weekly or daily time frame, yeah, let's remove this and later I will put it. What you can see that the market here created double top almost, and here we have double bottom so far. Yeah, I'll just put it as a range, and consolidation. So for me, the market right now, when it comes to the bodies of the candle, is just inside this range. Yes, let me put it that way. Again, I would say the market is inside this range at this point. So, and what do we know about ranges in general? That with ranges, we have a lot of fake outs. So it will be good for me to see how the daily candle is going to close, to be honest. Because if the daily candle is going to close below, okay, here we had this channel which is not relevant anymore, because I still believe that price will come down below and then to the upside. We can see that yes, on 4 hours time frame, the price broke below this range. But again, I wouldn't look at it actually, on 4 hours time frame. I want a higher time frame, so to give me a stronger confirmation, because in general, the higher the time frame is, the stronger it is. So this is one thing to keep in mind. So that's why I would say definitely I want to see more. But to be fully honest, I wouldn't touch or try to sell gold down to this area. I would be more looking for opportunity to buy gold when it comes to that area. Because at the end of the day, you need to keep in mind one thing, guys. The real trader or the good trader work on a scenario if, then. So what does it mean? It means if something will happen, then I will do this or that. So that's why I'm saying if the price will move from here down there, then I will be looking for opportunity to buy from here all the way to the upside. And this is the real trading is. Even to make it more attractive for you, I would be looking more into something like that. And to be honest, gold, US oil, and GBP, GBY, they love the 78.6% FIBO retracement. So to be more specific, I will be looking maybe to buy when the price will come to that area. Other than that, I wouldn't be, interested in buying gold at this stage. Last thing to look at, to be honest, US oil, I basically all what I can say, just like in a very basic and simple way. Because as you can see, I don't have any indicators on my chart because I don't believe in any of them. Okay, I like to keep it very easy and very simple and very clean. All what I need is only price action, resistance and support, and that's all. Other than that, to be honest, there is nothing else for me. And again, all what I can say, let me just put it that way. I would say here we have support, support, support couple of times. This is on weekly time frame, so this is very strong. Support, support, support. Price broke below, didn't come to retest as a resistance. So for me, again, I will be looking for opportunity to sell when the price will come here. And again, this is first confluence. Second, maybe here. You see, guys, 78.6% of FIBO aligning nicely with that area. So this is second confluence. Third confluence, maybe we have, let's go on daily time frame. So maybe we will have, third touch of the trend line. That will be a nice third confluence. And as I said, again, we might have basically from here FIBO. So then I would say we have three confluences. So basically to sell somewhere from here, all the way to the downside, especially, this is one thing, one tip, keep it, guys, for you as a secret. Don't tell it to anyone, okay? That when you see such big spike like that, okay, when you see such a big spike like that, let me put it that way, okay, you have to know one thing, that down below here, there is a lot of liquidity and a lot of stop losses. what the market should do, or what the market will do most of the time, is even if the market is tend to move to the upside, the market first will come, basically, the market will do like that. The market might move to the upside, or even the market might even shift all the way and start to be in uptrend instead of downtrend, because right now we are in downtrend. But what the market will do, the market will come here, collect all these stop losses, use it as a fuel for the move to the upside. Okay, so basically I would tell you one thing: more than, I would say 70%, more than 70%, the market will come and move to the downside here to collect all stop losses before moving to the upside, if any. Okay? Keep that in mind, and basically I will just close it here. I hope you find it useful, and if you have any questions, please let me know and I will get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you guys, and yeah, hope to hear you soon. Cheers.